If you're watching this, you're either about to start your Amazon Seller Account application or you already tried once and you don't want to mess it up again. And that's smart because this is one of those things where one small mistake can delay your account for weeks, even if you actually have all the right information. In this video, I'm going to walk you through every single step of the Amazon Seller Account application, start to finish, so you know exactly what Amazon is asking for before you click anything. I can't do a live seller account sign up on screen because this process involves so much confidential business information, but I do have recent screenshots of every single screen you'll see, and we're going to walk them through together step by step. In the previous videos in this series, I covered everything you need to have ready before you start: the documents, the accounts, and the information Amazon is going to ask for. If you don't know what to expect Amazon to ask for, it may be good to watch my earlier video about the seller account signup requirements first so you can have all your documents ready for this. The link is in the description, and I'll also reference it briefly if we hit something where you need more detail. You'll also need to have created an Amazon email and password that you're going to use to create the seller account for. I'll show you briefly that process here, but I have a whole video on making the login you're going to use first, which you can watch if you run into any difficulty with that. This video is about how to actually fill out the seller application correctly. I see this all the time with brands that get stuck. They had the right information and they had the right documents, but they entered things in the wrong place in the actual application. Amazon doesn't clearly explain what it's really looking for in each section, or sometimes their directions are misunderstood. I'll show you what each section is really asking for, where your information belongs, and what's important to double check before moving on. You'll be able to pause as we go through if you need extra time to track down a document or find a file. You'll notice sometimes you'll see blank spots on the screen where I've redacted certain information or pop-ups that were on the screen at the time. Alright, with that context in mind, let's start the application. Go to sellercentral.amazon.com. You're going to need to log in using the email that you're going to have this seller account linked to. Make sure you're not logged into your personal Amazon account because it will do that by default. If you don't already have a login, you'll need to click Create Your Amazon Account and then create an email and password. It will send an email to your email address with a verification code to verify your email. Then it will have you put in your phone number and it will send you a text verification code. The tricky part with this is that it can't be associated with another Amazon account, or you will get this message saying that that phone number has already been used. If you run into this problem and you don't have a number on hand that you can use, go ahead and watch my other video about this phone number already in use on Amazon message and a few easy ways around it. I'll link to that in the description. Once you're all the way logged in, you can go ahead and go to sellercentral.amazon.com and select Sign Up. The first screen you're going to see looks like this. You can go ahead and click Get Started. This section asks you for a few questions about your business. You can put in your country of residence, then it's going to ask you what type of business you have. For most small and mid-sized businesses, it's going to be a privately owned business. This would mean, for example, you have a registered LLC business entity or a corporation. Once you select that, it will give you a list of documents that you're going to need, and there's actually more than what's listed here. Make sure you have those on hand. Also, make sure the bank statements, credit card statements, and the credit card have a billing address that matches the legally registered business address for the company. Then you'll hit this checkbox and continue. Next, Amazon will ask for your legal business name. This must match exactly what appears on your official business documents. Don't do a shortened version of the name and don't use brand names unless your brand name is also your legal entity name. Next, it asks for your company registration number. The basic thing you need to know is that this is the registration number your state assigns your legal entity. It is not your EIN. Everyone always tries to put their EIN here. It's also not your sales tax ID. This is the number that your state assigned your legal entity when it was created. Different states do have a different name for this, but it's usually shown on your entity registration documents, and it is also shown on the Secretary of State website when you look up your entity's information. Amazon will check this against the state database to confirm it's correct. Again, if you're not sure on how to find it, go ahead and watch that previous video that I linked to in the description. Now, Amazon will ask for your business address. This should be the address your entity is registered at And whatever you enter here should match the documents you upload later. You'll see that it asks for a mobile phone number. You'll notice mine is whited out here. It will let you select the phone number you put in earlier, or you can add another phone if you'd like. You can change this phone number later. Next, Amazon will ask for the information on your primary contact. You have to pick someone to be the primary contact. Usually it's the owner. Amazon needs their personal information and is going to do some verification to make sure this is a real person. You can fill in the personal information it asks for in this form here. You can upload a passport or a driver's license. Make sure to fill in all the information in this form correctly. Sometimes when people are filling this out, they have some typos, but that will cause it to get rejected. So make sure you don't make any mistakes while filling in this information. Next, it will ask if this point of contact is an owner of the business. You can answer yes or no. They do need to be a legal representative of the business. If there's just one owner, then you can say, yes, they are the only owner. Then confirm that this person is able to be the point of contact for the business by checking the box and clicking Next. Here it's going to want your company's credit card information. You just put the card information here. Make sure this credit card is owned by the same business entity that you registered this account under and that the billing address matches the registered address of the business entity. On this next screen, just select the correct billing address. Next, it just asks you for some information about the store and the products you'll be selling. The store name is kind of like your username for the business. This doesn't need to match the legal entity name, and you can change it at any time. It can't be something that's already used. Usually you would just put your brand name in there. If it's taken, you can add something like official or store at the end if you want. It asks if you have UPC codes for your products. Usually this is going to be yes, but if you don't, you can select no. Then go ahead and answer if you have any diversity certifications. Usually you'll know if you do. And then answer if you own a brand. Sometimes people get confused with this. If you're having a contract manufacturer make products specifically for you, then you would be considered a brand, even if you haven't really made it into a brand that people know about yet, or you don't really have a brand name that you focus customers on. If you're buying another brand's products, for example, if you were buying Coca-Cola in bulk and selling it, then you would not be the brand owner. Coca-Cola owns that brand and you're just the one selling it. Next, we have some more business information that we need to give to Amazon. It should already show the business name that you gave it earlier, along with the registration number and business address. Make sure to double check those. Next, it's going to ask for a registration extract. Hopefully you have that ready to go and you can upload that here. That's typically your certificate of organization or certificate of incorporation, and it should show the exact legally registered business address and registration number that Amazon is showing you here. You can see Amazon gives you some examples of what they are looking for here. Next, we have the proof of address. This document is something Amazon wants to prove that the legally registered address is somewhere you actually operate. You can see they give you several options of documents you can upload. The important thing here is that the document shows the business address on it and preferably the business name. Most of the time, a bank statement is going to be the best one to use here, and it's the easiest to get. You'll also need a bank statement again anyway once we get to one of these next sections. It's very important to make sure you're uploading the full PDFs of any of these documents. If you only have paper copies, you can take pictures of the documents and upload them, but they need to be good pictures where the edges of the pages are not cut off and every single word can be easily read. You can also use a scanner if you have one. I would recommend reading through each of these requirements to make sure your document fills the requirements, as there's several of them, but most of them are common sense. Next, when you scroll a little farther down, you can see it lets you upload your ID and a document to prove the point of contact's personal address. If you selected passport or earlier, it will let you upload your passport, or it will have you upload the front and back of your driver's license. For the proof of address, you can see it gives you a bunch of options. Typically, a bank statement or credit card statement is what everybody uses for this. For most, it does feel weird that Amazon wants this person's individual credit card statement, particularly if this is an employee of the company and not the owner. However, they do have to ask this because they have to verify that there's real people signing up for this account, since they are responsible for keeping out scammers. In most cases, Amazon will then ask for what they call a letter of authorization. This is a letter that you have to make and have signed to confirm that the point of contact here is legally allowed to create a seller account for the business. Now, it seems weird that you would have to make this to give yourself permission, but that's the way this kind of thing works. Don't worry though, it's really easy. I've linked to a letter of authorization template in the description. Here's what the template looks like. All you have to do is fill out the information that's highlighted in red with your information, and then you have to sign it. This letter is simply an official statement from the business authorizing the person who you have as the point of contact to create and manage the Amazon seller account. You'll need to either e-sign it or print it, sign it, and then scan or photograph it clearly, and then upload it here in the form. If Amazon is asking for this document, pause the video and complete it before moving forward. If you go through the template and you need more information on what you're supposed to put in, you can always check that previous video where I talk more about it. Go ahead and upload it, and then you're going to click Next on this screen. Here, Amazon will ask for your bank account details. This is going to be how Amazon pays you, and this needs to be a company bank account. Make sure the bank account is registered under the same business name and address you've used in the application earlier. Select your country and then fill in the details that it asks for. For US sellers, you'll usually need the bank account number and the routing number. For Canada or UK sellers, you may also be asked for an additional details like a SWIFT code. Next, it will confirm it and you're done. You can select Continue to move on to the next section. That completes the application portion of the sign-up. On this next screen, Amazon is going to prompt you to do a virtual verification of the point of contact. It used to be that you would schedule a video call with an employee from Amazon and they would have you show your documents to the camera and make sure that you were actually the person on the ID, but now they do that all virtually. For this section, you'll need to have the ID that you used ready to have the point of contact available to be in front of the camera. In part 4, which will be posted shortly after this video, I'll walk you through the identity verification process and what happens after the application is submitted. You'll be able to click that video here.